Welcome, everybody, to the third and final launch episode of the Uncommon Reader podcast. I am your host, Chris Doherty, with my wife today. On the third launch episode, we had me talking into the abyss for the first episode. And then our second episode, which has been wildly successful with Classically Claire. You got to chat with Claire a little bit. I thought that was a fantastic episode. It was something that I was really proud of, still am really proud of it. And I think it was important to have that conversation, and I hope to have more conversations like that with people in the literature space. And why you're here is because you're an English teacher, you're my wife, you're my best friend, and we read together, we read alongside each other, we read in spite of each other, I think sometimes. With what we read. And we're going to talk about that today, but I think it was something I wanted to highlight was just the, and we'll talk about it on this episode, is just the importance of your role in, me being a content creator and how that impacts me and all of those things. And we'll get into that today on the episode. A couple quick calls to action. A big announcement this past Friday. I have joined Bindery as a tastemaker. It's something that I'm super excited about. They reached out to me and we've had some conversations, and Bindery is a place where you can curate reading lists and you have bookshelves, and it's a place for readers to build community, which is something that's, is really important to me. Came together pretty quickly. It's one that I'm really, really excited about. And so the link to join the Bindery community will be in the show description. But if you, for some reason, can't find it, it's just chrisreadbooks.binderybooks.com. Make sure that you subscribe to the Substack. That is the Uncommon Reader on Substack. And then follow me on all socials at Chris Reads Books. Not hard to find. But yeah, that's kind of the intro, calls to action. And yeah, let's get into what we do with every guest on the show is get into a reading update. It is November 1st today.
Yes. I think
October
so. Yeah.
felt 10 years long, but it also felt 2 minutes long.
Yeah, I totally agree. A lot of what I'm going to talk about is books I intended to read in October, but had to push for November because October has been crazy.
I know. We had a pretty crazy October. We sold our old house. Mm-hmm. We had my dad's birthday, your dad's birthday.
Our best friend's birthday.
We welcomed a nephew into the family. Shout out Colin, wonderful little beautiful boy. And so, yeah, it's been a crazy month. I know that for me, I didn't put out as much content this month, but that's okay. So you being the guest, we're going to let you get into the reading update first. So what did you read in October? And tell us a little bit about those books.
Awesome. Okay. So For the Wolf by Hannah Whitten. This is actually, we were walking around Barnes & Noble, something that we do
often.
Weekly, at least weekly. And I went right back to the fantasy section. I feel like the colder months are my fantasy months. It's where I get out of my summer read mode and get into more fantasy series. And yeah, the cover of this book just absolutely sold me from the first moment. I looked at it. I saw the Red Hood. It's a dark take on Little Red Riding Hood, but also has some elements of Beauty and the Beast and other fantasy series. Yeah, there's just something about it that gripped me. And you know how I am. When I start a book, I will either slowly read something for weeks and weeks and weeks, or I will devour something in 2 days. This was a 2-dayer.
I remember I was one of the books that I'm going to get into, The Revolutionary Temper. It's a nonfiction, and it's part of the France in Flames French Revolution reading curriculum we're doing over at Substack. And it's taking me longer to read that because I'm annotating and because, I'm going to be writing pieces about it and we're going to be discussing it. And I remember I read 8 pages and you had read 65. Yeah. And so that's just a big downer for me, to sit there and watch you do 8 times the speed of what I'm doing. So For the Wolf, Hannah Whitten, is this your first Hannah Whitten? I think you just bought another one of her books.
I did. So I'm going to be talking about the second book in this series in my November reads, but this is her debut.
Awesome.
For the Wolf was the debut novel, and I loved it. I thought it was great.
Yeah, what did you like about it?
The writing style, for one, I felt like it was really immersive. Hannah really painted this world that was familiar yet unfamiliar. There was a lot of elements of nature tied in, and I thought that was really interesting. I liked the characterization that she did, and yeah, the story really centers around the love story, but also a story of family and two sisters who are raised for opposite purposes in a world that only values the role of one of them. And the tagline for the book is like, the first sister is for the throne and the second sister is for the wolf. And yeah, it's a really interesting dynamic. I have a sister. We grew up very oppositely as far as our personalities. I mean, we were treated the same way, but we were, we were very opposite people. So I like reading like sister dynamic stories. I think it's interesting.
Yeah, no, that's great. Debut novel, that's awesome. It's always good when you have a debut novel that just comes out swinging. So that's good. What else did you read in October?
It's Nightshade by Autumn Woods. This was a complete departure for me. This was, I guess the best way to describe it is it has like a murder mystery element, but it has almost like a dark academia gothic kind of vibe. Super dark. It's gritty, but it has like a fantasy like Hogwarts as if it was, or like it's like Hogwarts, but like for, sexy people. That's the vibe I get from it, if it makes sense.
My invite must have been lost in the mail.
Yeah.
So the first book I read was White Noise by Don DeLillo. It was an absolutely fantastic book. It was my first DeLillo, and you'll see here that I have another one in my November stack. It was published in 1985 or 6. And DeLillo has this way of tying into the American mindset. And he's very forward thinking in a lot of the things that we as a society are experiencing and dealing with now. He foresaw that and was able to write about that, 40 years ago. Mm-hmm. Right. And so White Noise is about consumerism and overconsumption and, family dynamics and capitalism. And there's so many great underlying themes in the book, and it's so well written. And it's just something that is really, really impactful for me as a reader. I'm so excited to continue to read more of his work. Obviously, I'm going to be diving into Libra in November. And I also watched the movie. I thought the movie was okay. You didn't
did not.
You didn't like what you watched of it.
In all fairness, I had no context because I hadn't read the novel. And I think it was one of those movies where you had to have some context to enjoy it. I think it's it was for a niche audience, that's for sure.
Yeah, Greta Gerwig was in it, and I think Noah Schaumbach is her husband. I think he directed it. I think he's her husband.
Oh yeah, I think so.
Yeah, no, I'm not up on the celebrity marriages, but
right.
If they are married, cool. Next book. This is a surprising one for me. My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Ottessa Moshfegh. This, I think I'm now a sad girl lit bro. I think sad girl fiction, did not expect to love it as much as I did. It was absolutely fantastic. And I finished this in a day and a half.
Yeah, this was a quick one for you.
It was so good. And I remember when I finished it, I came out into the living room and just was raving about it to you.
Yeah.
It's about this girl, pre 9/11 New York City, and her entire mission, she's just recently gone through some tragedy. And so her entire mission is to spend the next year sleeping as much as humanly possible or like inhumanly possible. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And don't hate it. I think, maybe I might do that at some point in my life. But
I think I do that now.
Yeah.
Possibly.
So it was just so good. And I loved it. The writing is in your face. It's not it's not going to win like the Nobel Prize for literature. Like it's a very good book. It's in your face. It's a satirical fiction that touches on mental health. And so I think some people got sensitive in reading it because it is a satirical look at mental health and kind of the struggles of that.
Right.
But I found it to be absolutely fantastic. And she said that that's not even her best book, even though it's like her most widely lauded work.
Yeah, that's so interesting to me. Like I remember when you told me that she didn't recommend this one as her best book and you loved this. So I can only imagine how much you're going to love what she considers her best work.
Which is McGlue. Yeah. That's on my November TBR. Yeah. My year of rest and relaxation. Absolutely loved it. Highly recommend going and picking it up or reading it on Kindle or whatever, like library. But yeah, it was so good. It's just like in your face. It's just under 300 pages. Yeah, I just absolutely loved it. Next one, last one for me in October, not a long list of books in October, was Hard Rain Falling by Don Carpenter. And boy, oh boy, what an interesting read. And
I have to show the viewers all of the notes that he made in this one.
Not the greatest experience reading this book.
Okay.
It was a very good book. I actually, buddy, read this with a good friend of the show, Josh reads books.
We love Josh.
Yes. You know, I enjoyed the book. I thought it was well written. I had some real problems with the racial tones and language used in the book. It was written in 1969. And we talked about this, like when you have an omniscient narrator, they're responsible for how the characters are described, fleshed out, brought to life, right? It's different when you have a first person narrator navigating you through this work, because then that's them describing this person as X.
Right. Yeah.
In this book, there are extremely racist explanations and descriptions of a particular character from an omniscient narrator. And I just felt it was forced. I felt it was aggressive at times and just very unnecessary.
Like jarring.
Yeah, like definitely some things where I was like, whoa.
Right.
And so I posted a review about it because I did think it was a good book. Tony from A Life on Book said this is like the best book he's ever read. I think it's important to have conversations, especially when you differ. And so I posted a video saying like, oh, someone I really respect on social media has said this is like the best book they've ever read. Here's why I disagree. Right. Yeah. But I think, I think conversations like this are.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And, I brought up the example my students read or have read To Kill a Mockingbird. And obviously there's some language in that book that I have to have conversations with my students about. And, I made the point that when certain language is used by certain characters to either show their evil nature or to show their like naivete towards how people are being treated. Is that a new word for you, Elmo? Or
there's some new words every time I read a book.
Yeah, just your face is funny. But yeah, like I have a different feeling about, I guess, seeing characters say certain things in the context of their character. And even then, obviously, like time and place, time period it was written in, all these things, you can't read anything in a vacuum. But from your description, yeah, I agree with you. I feel like you read me a couple passages and I felt that jarring was the best way to explain how I felt about it.
Yeah, no, it I'm going to have to end up writing a Substack piece about it.
Yeah.
It's just something that's just been like sitting on my brain for a while. And yeah, I think it's good. I can also see why Don Carpenter did not have a lot of success.
Sure.
I mean, this is the only book of his that I think is still in publication. So yeah, that's what I read in October. That's what you read in October. Do we want to dive right into what we're reading in November? Yeah, not all of them are going to be read in November. Let me just kind of go through what I'm going to read in November here for sure. So I got that. This is my problem. I can't decide. Something I'm currently reading, which I guess I'll kind of count for October because I tried to finish it before October. Child of God by Cormac McCarthy. It's like a dark, gritty, scary Appalachia story.
Oh,
And if you've never read McCarthy, he does not use quotations for dialogue.
that would drive me insane.
Yeah, and so he also writes in like the dialect that is being spoken. And so it's very Appalachian. Just reading this book. In fact, I've started to just read it in an Appalachian accent.
I would love to hear that sometime.
Yeah. So it's that's just how I'm getting through it, but
yeah,
it's something I started in October.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably end up finishing it in November. I don't love it. It's it's not something I love, but okay, another book I'm reading is Help Wanted by Adele Waldman. Mm-hmm. This is a satirical fiction about life working in retail.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so it was from one of the videos that Anthony Jeselnik, who I did not know was just disgustingly well read.
Right, yeah.
Shout out to him. Actually, that's where I got my Year of Rest and Relaxation. I got this, and I got Brat, I think, too. Oh, and also You're Dead by Sam Sachs, who I'm hopefully going to be interviewing here in the near future. But yeah, it's cool. I'm like, I don't know, 10 pages in right now. It hasn't gotten like crazy funny yet, but yeah. So Help Wanted, that's something I'm reading in November. I've read a little bit of Child of God in October, going to read it in November. Tinkers by Paul Harding. He won the Pulitzer Prize for this book. It was his debut novel.
That's impressive. Wow.
Yeah. And so Marilyn Robinson, this was her kind of like blurb about the book. Tinkers is truly remarkable. It achieves and sustains a unique fusion of language and perception. Its fine touch plays over the textured richness of very modest lives, evoking again and again a frisson of deep recognition, a sense of primal encounter with the brilliant, which is something I know you do every day, being married to me. I'm sorry, did it?
Is that what it says? Or
No, I think maybe I ad-libbed that. Elusive worlds of the senses. It confers on the reader the best privilege fiction can afford, the illusion of ghostly proximity to other human souls. So sounds beautiful. Sounds great. Sure. And I actually bought it in part because it looked a little beat up, and I just kind of like when my books look beat up. So I don't know. McGlue, this is the book that Otessa Moshfegh says is her best book. It's her first novel, so there might be some sentimental value tied in there for her.
Sure.
Salem, Massachusetts, 1851. McGlue is in the hold, still too drunk to be sure of name or situation or orientation. He may have killed a man.
Oh.
That man may have been his best friend. Intolerable memory accompanies sobriety. A sail on the high seas of literary tradition, Otessa Moshfegh gives us a nasty, heartless blackguard on a knife-sharp voyage through the fogs of recollection.
Wow. Okay.
And yeah, I love that. And
yeah, it sounds.
If she says that's her best novel, which is weird because it actually says novella on the cover, but sure. I'll have a talk with Otessa about that. I actually found it on Substack. And so Libra by Don DeLillo. I think I'm actually buddy reading this with a couple of folks on Instagram. It's a fictional retelling of the JFK assassination from the viewpoint of Lee Harvey Oswald, which took place in November. So feels
perfect time, really.
To read it. I'm gonna try and get to Frankenstein. We were supposed to read that last month. I didn't
either. I did start reading a few pages of it again. I did, full disclosure, Frankenstein is a novel that I read in undergrad for my literature degree. And I remember loving it, but I did pick it up on Friday just because I thought it's Halloween. Why not?
Yeah.
And I do I do a 10-minute read with my students on Friday for every block. So I read that book for about 40 minutes on Friday, and gotta be honest, did not have as much of a good time as I remember, but maybe it's because there's a lot of like setting it up in the beginning, and I didn't remember any of that. So
yeah, I really want to read it. And I think this is the 1831 edition. I also have the 1818 edition.
Is that the one I have?
Yeah, okay. That's the one you have. But the new movie comes out, the Guillermo del Toro, which is based on Shelley's book. I guess kind of like a tried and true adaptation. He's also really well read. I was watching a video of him talking.
That makes sense.
Which, hey, good for him. But
Yeah.
a lot of classics. Him and Claire would be
that makes
best
sense.
buds. I'll put that in my maybe. I'll put it in my maybe.
That's fair.
Because I have a lot of stuff I still have to get to. Again, the France in Flames French Revolution reading curriculum you can join over on Substack. The Revolutionary Temper was the first book that we were reading from October 8th to November 6th. And then we start on the second book, which I think is A New World Begins. I don't know. I have to look back, but I'm not far at all. And I really gotta get through that this week. So that's a definite. I have to read it in November. I may fall behind. It's like a 6-month curriculum though. So like,
yeah, you have time.
Plenty of time. I mean, I gave us literally 10 weeks to read Napoleon Alive.
Yeah.
So, because it's a 1,000-page book.
Oh, wow.
And then I do want to read. I'm not going to hold myself to it.
So it's a maybe.
It's a maybe for sure. Your Name Here by Helen DeWitt. I was like subliminally peer pressured into buying this book from a couple friends I have on Instagram that just would not stop posting about it. And it's one of the craziest books I've read for sure. It's like a book about describing books about this book. And so it teaches you Arabic and there's accounting.
Oh, is that the one that you like opened up and said like, look, there's math?
Yeah, there's math and you learn Arabic.
I'm out
like
on math.
Kurdish. Yeah, so it's really weird. It's by Dalkey Archive when they just like are notorious for publishing unique works of fiction. Actually, my bookstore trip today that I took solo, which is always a mistake.
Yeah, it really is.
I came home with 13 books. When I'm unsupervised, that is what happens. Yeah, I bought probably 8 Dalkey books. And so, yeah, pretty excited to dive into them.
Yeah, very cool.
So, yeah, what do you have on tap for November?
So let me just start with, I am listening to a few books right now, and also because I'm really trying to up my reading.
Do audiobooks count as reading?
I think so.
But do they count as reading?
I count them, and I'm the English teacher. So
heard it here first.
Yeah, I'm going to count them. So during the school year, I have a lot harder of a time getting through my TBR the way I want to. I'm on, I am prepping for my classes. I'm reading the text that I'm going to be teaching. We are busy throughout the fall, like doing different activities. So
no pumpkin patches though.
We did not get to a pumpkin patch. Yeah.
No.
That was sad on our part. Hey, it's November. We could still get to one, don't you think?
I'm a bit busy this month.
You could take a book with you.
I'll be there.
Okay.
I'll be there.
Anyway.
I have to carry the pumpkin.
Yeah, of course. I'm not going to carry it.
Like, what do they get?
Like a wagon? Yeah.
Wagon.
I don't see why we couldn't get a wagon, but you're going to pull the wagon.
I'm looking at my calendar right now. I'm actually very busy. I'm sorry.
So I am listening to a few books. I'm also reading some things on my Kindle as well, which I'll get into those next, I guess. I'll do my physical books first, maybe.
Yeah. Let's
physical TBR. Sure. Okay. So my first one is the second book in the duology, I guess this is going to be, for Hannah Witten. This is For the Throne. So like I said at the top of the episode, they are 2 books. One is for the perspective of the sister who is for the wolf. This one is the other sister. She is to be queen, or I think is queen by the time this book starts. I'm really excited to continue. I think that it's a really interesting and fun read, and having a good time so far. Yeah,
it's a faux decolled edge book, which I will always gravitate towards.
Yeah.
I love a good faux decolled edge.
And the art is absolutely beautiful. So
yeah,
I'm really excited about that one.
Oh boy, we know this book.
Yes. So
I didn't know that this girl wrote this.
Yeah. The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is my second Taylor Jenkins Reid novel. For my book club, my friends and I are in a book club, and we, over the summer, read Atmosphere, and I listened to that novel, and I did really like it. But with the release of Taylor Swift's new album, which I am a fan of,
Lifetime of a Showgirl.
The Life of a Showgirl.
Right.
I just felt like this novel
No, I bought like 4 pre-order items for
You did. Thank you. I appreciate that. This novel follows the story of a socialite who is like finally telling her story later in her life. And she picks an unknown reporter to tell her story to. And I don't know, it just felt like it has a vibe that reminds me of Elizabeth Taylor with her many marriages and relationships. And there's like a salacious element to it. And I started reading it and I really liked the tone of it. And I really like Taylor Jenkins Reid. I like the way that she writes. And yeah, I was excited to give this one a shot. It just felt like a good time for it.
Yeah, I just think that this book, it's giving sapphic.
Oh,
Like it's giving
I forgot. How could I forget? That's my favorite thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's just giving sapphic for sure.
So, famously, my sister, who I love very much, but she does not really read very much.
No, she should be listening to this.
Yeah, she not a big reader, not because she doesn't enjoy reading, just because she doesn't really make the time for it. But,
Boo.
Yeah, she sent us a text or me a text, I forget, and
she didn't send me a text.
Yeah, it was me.
It roasted her.
Yeah,
to a crisp.
Just out of nowhere, was like no context. She just texted me, "The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo is such a great book. It's super sapphic." And I was like, my sister is also well known.
You don't even know what that word means.
Right. My sister's also well known for not having the largest vocabulary. Is that the right best way I could say it?
Most expansive.
Yeah. She is incredibly smart. She is like high up in her career. However, it is not language vocabulary is not her strong suit. So it's like, wow, Casey, sapphic. That is incredible.
Yeah, no, that threw me through the loop. But yeah, that's our little inside joke that now everybody else is in on. So you got one more here?
Yes.
What we got here?
This,
Adrienne Young.
Yeah. So this is Bells for Forgetting by Adrienne Young. I read a few novels by Adrienne Young on my Kindle. There was a bunch on Kindle Unlimited a couple years ago. One of them was Namesake, and that was kind of like a spooky pirate vibe, and I really liked it. This one, I believe, it's funny that you mentioned it because I believe this one is also, so this one is like on an island in like the Pacific Northwest, which just gives me like November vibes, There's something about Pacific Northwest and like being out in like a wooded area, cabin in the woods type of thing that I like for fall. So I picked this one up. There's a magical realism element to it. It's apparently going to be a love story. There's also some betrayal and a murder mystery. So there's a kind of like a lot going on here. So yeah, I just thought this looked interesting.
I've never heard of it. But again, a lot of the stuff you read, I've never heard of, and vice versa.
Yeah.
We
fair enough.
For as much as we have in common and as much fun as we have spending time together, we have vividly different reading tastes. That's the reading update. It was quite a long one, but I think it's always good to make sure that we're diving into what we're reading, and I think we got a lot of really good stuff lined up. There's a trend online right now, like my 10 before the end. Like the 10 books people want to read before 2025. I have a stack of like books that I want to read before end of 2025. We know me though. Like half of that list is not going to see the light of day.
The one thing we do have in common is we are both mood readers.
Very. Yeah.
We have different moods.
Yeah.
Very different moods of what we're reading, but we are both in fact mood readers.
Yeah. And so that's just like, it's why I got away from like a TBR, and it's why I got away from rating books. A big part of it was because I may have read that book when I was in a bad mood. You know what I mean? Like, and I may have read that book and it just dragged on too long. And I'm like, well, now I hate this book.
Yeah.
That's actually a big part of why I gave Memory Police only 3 stars.
Oh, yeah.
I felt like it took so long to read. And I was like, man, this is just like dragging on forever.
Yeah, you got really frustrated with that one.
And same thing with I Who Have Never Known Men. I just did not really like that book. But now thinking back about Memory Police, and I want to read it again, I think about that book so much.
Right.
Since I read it for the first time.
It was like a slow burn for you.
For sure. And it's a very slow burn just naturally. That is, I think it's important to talk about the books. But yeah, The 10 Before the End is not something that I am going to be able to partake in. It's just, I'm not built for it. So yeah, this is the third and final launch episode. And I'm so excited to have you on. Yeah. There will be sporadic appearances by you probably in the future. I think, kind of one of the things that, is important to me is, you're involved in the literature space. Obviously, you're a high school English teacher. Mm-hmm. And so I'm able to kind of bounce ideas off you and get your take on things that I think are relevant and important in literature. And, as I start to experience things as a reader that, maybe you've already experienced or can shed some insight on. I'm just excited for you to be a part of this and to have you here. And I think people will be able to gain knowledge and insight from someone like you. And I think that's always an added, plus.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. I think for me, it's really important to be in a space and, I'm so proud of the content that you're making. And you've talked so much about how, and I know you've said it on other episodes of the podcast, how your goal is to get young men to read. And, that's the struggle I'm facing literally every day is getting kids to read in general and making literature relevant and trying to convince young people that reading is cool, but also necessary and vital for, success in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm right there with you on that.
Yeah, I think it's right now, especially because of everything that's going on in the world and how much literature is being pushed back against. Mm-hmm. I think someone like you is facing an uphill battle every day. You know what I mean? And I think everybody in the literature space that is fighting the good fight for literature and trying to push back against the anti-intellectualism movement, it's a battle every day. And so, proud of what you do. And, I think obviously a big inspiration to why I read so much and what I read and, the content that I'm making, obviously a big impact there. But yeah, I think it's important that people like yourself, obviously in your career, it's a little bit different for me. Like this isn't my career.
Yeah.
I have a very different career than reading books. Which it was not that case. I wish I could read books for a living.
Yeah. Me too.
But yeah. And so, well, I mean, you kind of do, but yeah, and it's a big thing too. There's actually this, like actual case study or maybe like a review journal, piece or something about reading fiction and the impact it has on empathy.
Yeah.
And, you and I have talked about the expansion of empathy I have felt since I've dove into fiction as hard as I have.
Yeah.
And so I think that's important. I think getting more young men to read fiction is something that is not just like a goal, it's like imperative.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I agree.
Yeah, I just want to continue to push that rock up that hill every day.
Yeah. And my take on that is I feel like getting people to read fiction in general, the reason why it's so important is, and why I think it builds empathy from my own personal experience, is that you can't find any other medium that gets you to have the experience of someone else's worldview through their eyes, right? You are a viewer when you're watching something on TV. You are a listener when you are listening to a podcast, when someone's talking about their perspective. And that's great. And I think that is, those are valuable experiences as well. But when you're reading something and you're taking on the experience of a character, I just feel like nothing else truly lets you try on someone else's life and walk in their shoes. And that is where those building blocks of empathy show up. And yeah, that's what we do in my classroom. We do these character studies. We have these conversations. We talk about how character might have felt. And I don't know, I think everyone should have that experience.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And so I hope that, kind of, again, the more episodes of this podcast that we release, the more it reaches young men. And I'm very I'm very adamant about looking at the analytics of my content and ensuring that the audience that I'm reaching is younger men. And most of the time it is. Obviously there's been a bit of an uptick, and that's okay. I mean, the more the merrier. You know what I mean? Like the more people we can get offline, I think the better. And obviously that's an added win for literature.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
So obviously being a literature teacher, English teacher, reading is obviously a big part of your life and has been a big part of your life. I know for the most part kind of what made you want to do what you do now, or who maybe got you into reading and kind of what the impact of that was and how it's maybe changed or kind of shaped the reader you are today.
Absolutely. So I guess my origin story with reading is that when I was young, my very beloved grandmother was a big reader the same way that I was. And as a young child, she, my siblings were, like rough and tumble kids. They like played every sport and they were outside all the time digging in the dirt. And that just really wasn't for me. I was much more of an imagination, like creative player. And that kind of sparked, my grandmother used to be a big storyteller. She would, every time we, were babysat by her, she would make up these elaborate stories and she would, play pretend with us. And where are we going? We're on a magic carpet. Where could we go? What could we see? What's it going to look like outside our window? That always really engaged me. And then as I got a little bit older, when my siblings would be doing, stuff with my grandfather for the most part, my grandmother would ask me if I wanted to go to the library with her because she was going to get her next read. She took me to the library with her.
What type of books did she read?
Oh God, she read a little bit of everything. She was very into like her faith. So she read a lot of like faith-based books, but she also read like kind of just a little bit of everything. I think as she got older, she read less, but she was so excited that I was reading that she was just happy to be the person, taking me along. And we would go to our public library and she said I would talk her ear off the entire way up to the library.
You?
Yeah, me.
Wow.
No way.
Shocker.
And then on the way back, I would be silent because I'd be reading my book.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's like where it started for me. I was a big series reader. I read all the Harry Potter books. I read all of like kind of everything I could get my hands on at some different points. But when I was in high school, I showed an aptitude for reading. I showed an aptitude for vocabulary and language and writing. And I started taking higher level reading and English classes and took an AP English class that let me really deep dive into literature. And yeah, from there, I just knew that I was going to do something with books. And that only cemented itself when I was in college and got to get into like a deeper study of literature. And I just loved every minute of it. And yeah, it just made sense. I loved all the teachers I had. I thought teaching was so interesting. And yeah, it was definitely something that I knew I could give back by becoming a teacher. So
yeah, no, that's great. It's great to have someone directly inspire you to get into reading or to read certain things. And, like I've been pretty vocal about, Michael Kist being a big influence as to like why I create content and, why I read so much nonfiction. And, Tony from A Life on Books is a big reason why I read a lot of fiction now. And so, yeah, I think it's great to have someone that can directly impact your reading journey. And I hope that in my content that I create, I, in a way, either directly or indirectly, can, be that for young people.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've been at this for a while. I always have a unique question.
Sure.
For the guests. And I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Oh, no.
You don't know what this question is.
I really don't.
I'm going to ask you to blind rank the top 5 Harry Potter books.
Ah. Oh, man. Okay.
So 1 is obviously the best, and then 5 is the 5th best, not the worst, because there's 8 books.
7.
Or there's 8 movies.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, first one, Prisoner of Azkaban.
Gonna have to go with 4.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Not a big fan of Prisoner of Azkaban.
It's okay. It's I'm not a big time travel person.
That's my favorite movie, though.
It is my least favorite movie.
Really?
Yeah. Well, not least. We'll maybe get to the one that's my least.
Yeah. Philosopher's Stone.
2.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is my favorite movie, though.
Yeah, I think that actually is my favorite movie too, the first one.
I can recite, I think, the entire thing. Like, actually the entire thing.
No, actually, I doubt that because I've done Harry Potter trivia with you and we lost. So, moving on. Goblet of Fire.
3.
Okay.
What do I have open right now? 1 and 5?
1 and 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Order of the Phoenix.
5. I hated that book.
Hated.
Well, I guess hated's not fair. That is my least favorite in the series. It was so dark comparatively. There felt like no hope the entire time. The tone shift felt so drastic. It was on purpose, and I understand that now. But at the time that I read it, I had gone from this like sweeping, fun tournament from 4, right? Into like, not to spoil anything, but it's been like 20 years or something.
No, there's like a 10-year limit.
Yeah.
Like that's my statute of limitations.
Yeah, I think who doesn't know the story now?
Like I remember I was listening to a podcast and they're like, yeah, at the end of the Stranger by Cam Moon, I'm like, how dare you people?
Yeah.
Like it was when I first started getting into like reading fiction. I'm like, are you people sickos? Like, and then I was like, oh, that was written in like 1870.
Right. Yeah, like it's spoiled by now.
Yeah.
That book shifted so hard to like Harry Potter's a liar, all of his friends are not paying attention to him. Everything is dark, everything is terrible, and yeah, it was hard for me to read. It was hard to get through.
Yeah. I know where this is going to go. We have no choice, but I know where this would naturally go.
Mm-hmm.
Half-Blood Prince.
It's number 1.
You love Half-Blood Prince.
I love Half-Blood Prince.
Yeah.
I don't know if it
I was really trying to get you to like be like, I'll probably have to put that number 1 because I don't know if he's going to do Half-Blood Prince.
No, I love Half-Blood Prince. It's so funny, right? And
if I threw it in there in the middle, would you still put it number 1?
Yeah. I would.
I was trying to like.
You can't catch me. You can't. That is the one. And the reason being is because again, the fun and hope came back. There was this return to the levity that was in like the first like 2 books before things like took a really dark turn, and there was fun, there was love and romance, they brought Quidditch back, there was adventure. It ends.
Feels a bit like what 2029 might feel like.
Sure, yeah.
Anyway.
It was, though, had the darkest that was the twist ending, That's when
Snape, right?
Yeah, because Dumbledore.
Yeah.
And that, like, when I tell you that moment, I can see in my mind.
Gut-wrenching for you?
I can see where I was sitting in my parents' house when I read it. Like, it just... So I think that's my favorite book because it was so much more fun than the previous, but also because that twist, I did not see it coming. I think I see everything coming. We can't watch a single movie.
Yeah, watching movies with you sucks.
Yeah, I see
we're like
everything
10
coming.
minutes and you're like, theory.
And I'm always
like,
right.
Stop talking.
Yeah, I'm always right.
Stop. Leave the room.
Yeah. I did not see that coming. I was so shook by that as a teenager. It like just shaped my worldview, I think.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
I was really going to torture you and put Cursed Child in there, but it's not part of this.
No, don't do that to me. I hate Cursed Child.
That's probably your favorite.
I should give it another chance. You know what my problem with it is, though.
Yeah.
It's the tone. It's
right.
I don't like when I can tell someone else has had a hand in writing something, because I'm very sensitive to like author's voice and like the voice of a novel, and I can just tell when it's not like the same. I think I even feel that way if an author stopped writing for a few years and like comes back to something. I'm like, no, not for me. I feel terrible saying that, but there's something about
Wow, that's
but no, like
I want a book out every year.
Oh no.
Or get out of my face.
Not that. It's you can write something.
You would love John Patterson or whatever that guy's name is.
No, Dan Patterson. No,
John Grisham.
It's not that. It's I will read something 10 years after if it's a different book, but I can't do like a continued series. I probably won't be able to read if there ever is a new Game of Thrones book. I can't read it.
He's never finishing that.
But if he did, even if he did.
We've had 4 spinoffs.
I know.
He's not
But
finishing.
I need you to know that like I don't think it's something I could do because I would feel like the tone has changed. I don't know.
Yeah. And plus you already know what the like ending is that we got, and it was not great.
No.
And I'm just so mad about it because I speed watched. I watched all 6 seasons in the 2 weeks before the last season.
That is absolutely psychotic.
I was like watching it in the shower, and like I'd like be watching it as I'm like bathing, and then I'd like bring it out into like the bathroom, and then like I'd be like drying myself off and like watching it, and it was just so.
Have you ever read a book like that? That like you had to keep reading it and you had to like open it up and
My Year of Rest and Relaxation. That was the most recent book. East of Eden. Wool was like that. Yeah. So like there were like times with East of Eden, because that took me that I read over like 3.5 weeks. There were times where I'd have to go to bed because it was like 1 a.m. and I'm like, I just like can't wait to wake up tomorrow. Yeah, you know what I mean? And so I think that's an amazing feeling in and of itself.
Yeah. Chris makes fun of me because I, as much of a reader as I am, I'm not that big on reading physical books as much as he is, which is weird.
Boo. We're team physical books in this house.
I am. But one of the reasons why I read...
I was wondering why I didn't see all your Kindle Unlimited books on our new bookshelf in the living room.
Ha ha ha. But the reason why I read Kindle Unlimited or I read on my like Kindle or on my phone is because I want access to my book no matter where I am, especially if I'm reading something I really like. Like
take it with you.
People think I know, but people think I'm like scrolling.
No, you need to be a performative girly out in public.
No.
Like when you're pumping your gas, like just like pumping your gas, reading spells for forgetting.
I just need you to know that when I am pumping my gas, there are times when I'm reading my book on my phone.
No.
But people think I'm just scrolling, but I'm not. I'm reading.
I read because I don't want to be near my screen.
I know.
You know what I mean? And so, but anyway, yeah, I'm very like, I don't care how you read. Like, I don't care if it's a newspaper. You know what I mean? Like, just read the book or read a book. But yeah, that's all I have. I don't know if you have anything for me. We're married, so.
I don't think so. I mean, you usually ask most of the questions. Should I ask a question?
Yeah, what do you got for me?
Well, what was the book that you read? I don't know if you talked about this on the podcast yet, because I feel like your journey has been so unique. Like my journey's been like years and years and years in the making. Yours is a little bit more recent in this style of reading journey.
According to one of the TikTok commenters, I started reading yesterday.
Oh, that's rude.
No, that's what I said.
Chris doesn't read the comments very much, but I read them and I get mad on his behalf.
I don't care. I was built for the bullshit.
Not me. I'm sensitive.
There's times in the comments where people will be like, oh, like you're dumb or whatever. And I'm like, you look like the person who took the first picture. Like you're ugly. Like I'll just straight up call people ugly.
That's terrible.
For them. Yeah. I mean, I would hate to get roasted like that online too. I've had people delete their accounts and I don't care. Like,
no,
we're here to read books. We're here to spread awareness about literature. Like if you're going to come in the comments hating, like you're going to swing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do not have that energy. I'm a crier. I'm like, no. I'm very upset that someone had the audacity to be mean to you.
No, I was built for the bullshit and we all know that.
Not me. My question was, what was the book that really started this part of your reading journey where you really got into reading and content creation, and like what's that moment, what's that book, like you're almost like your touchstone for the beginning of all of this?
Like the book that got me into content creation?
The book that got you into reading so passionately as an adult, I guess.
Would have to say, like more recently anyway, was How the Word Is Passed.
Mm-hmm.
It was a book that I got for Christmas.
Yeah.
And I think I got like 16 books for Christmas that year. And obviously I had like no idea where to start. And so I just started reading How the Word Is Passed. I've always had like a interest in like the history of slavery and understanding it better and like on a more deeper level. And so like naturally I was just drawn to that book. And it also, Clint Smith is a poet. And so his prose is wonderful. And I remember starting that book off, and he describes sitting at a table with his grandmother. And I felt like I was sitting at that table with them.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's like, that's a nonfiction book.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I just like was like, wow, you know, like this is the best book I've ever read. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
I remember finishing it, and I was like, I want to talk to somebody about this.
Yeah.
And, you know, like none of my like friends read the types of books I read. And certainly don't talk to me about the books that they read. You know what I mean? And so I just like posted a video about it, and it, at that time to me, I was like, wow, this went kind of like viral because it had like 1,200 views.
Right.
And I was like for me with content creation, I don't care about the views. Like I don't care about the likes. Like I don't care about what my follow number looks like. You know what I mean? Like I care about the people that are in the comments or DMs and are like, hey, thank you so much for, like, because of you, I started reading again, or because of you, I bought these 2 books and they were the best books I've read in a long time. Like I had somebody on my YouTube comment and say like, I've been watching your videos and I've always been saying I don't have time to read, but like you've inspired me to like make time in my day. So now I bring books to the gym.
Oh, awesome.
And like stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so it's just cool to like have a small role in people introducing themselves to new works of, you know, literature or nonfiction. And so, yeah, I'd say, you know, How the Word Is Passed, East of Eden was
transformative.
Yeah. Like if I'm going to build a personal canon, East of Eden is like the pillar that's going to hold up the house.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
My personal canon.
That's a cool idea to build a personal canon. I never thought about that.
Yeah, actually, Life on Books just had like a episode about like their personal canon.
Very cool.
But I always had this idea of like wanting to build out, and this is another part of like why joining Bindery just makes so much sense.
Sure.
I wanted to build out like, hey, these are my go-to like book recs.
Yeah.
Like,
no. Yeah.
whether you're a new reader or a seasoned reader, because I read a lot of weird stuff. You know what I mean? That not a lot of people are going to see at the front tables of Barnes and Noble or, you know, on Kindle Unlimited a lot of times, or they're not going to see it on Amazon if they go on Amazon.
Sure.
Being, you know, talked about a lot. And so, you know, obviously like I read like a ton of like translated fiction and stuff like that, and like older books. And now I'm in my sad girl lit bro era, which like, so obviously just like in a weird space with reading, but I'm loving it. And I think that's what's important is like you find books that you like and you just enjoy sitting with them, and reading them and arguing with them. And, yeah, I think that's kind of like what it's all about.
Yeah,
you know
absolutely.
I mean? Awesome. So that's cool. That's a little flip the script there. Ask me a question. I appreciate that. Some calls to action. Where can everybody follow me?
Everyone can follow you on Chris Reads Books on both TikTok and Instagram now.
And YouTube.
Oh, and YouTube. Yeah.
Substack is The Uncommon Reader.
Right.
Just recently posted an update about the Frames and Flames French Revolution reading curriculum. I have an article up for paid subs about Tyler Childers' new partnership with Libby.
Yeah.
Very interesting discussion over there. And then, join the Bindery community. Chris reads books.binderybooks.com. Join the community, get access to the Discord, hang out, have a good time.
And you can find me on TikTok at Cozy Cate. It's Kate with a C, in case we didn't say that before.
Is it cozy with a C?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cozy Cate. And then on Instagram, it's Cozy Cate with 2 E's.
Okay. I will put those both in the link description or in the description with the other links. It's late. We're recording this pretty late. It's 10:13.
Oh my gosh.
p.m.
Way
Eastern
past
Standard
my bedtime.
on November 1st.
Yeah.
I love you. Thank you so much for
I love you too.
spending some time with us here on the Uncommon Reader. And we'll talk to you guys soon.
Yeah, definitely.
Bye.
Bye.